Okay, so with that, we should look forward to 2023 and what we anticipate about 2023. What our predictions are, what what we're looking forward to, and I'm just going to start with, what do you think? Is this the year that Pope Francis retires?
I don't think so.
There's been more speculation about this Pope retiring every single year than any other Pope. And he goads it on because he keeps mentioning it in interviews. You don't think so?
I just don't think he will. I don't think he'll step down until he passes away personally. So
well, I tell you what, I don't think he wants to have a third Pope. And
right, that would be another thing. Yeah,
like it's like going back to Avignon to have like 3 popes at the same time.
Yeah, although Benedict looks terrible now, unfortunately. The last time I've seen him, he looks like a walking corpse. I mean, he's
really skinny.
Really skinny.
Yeah, he's all hunched over. But boy, that guy, I love that man to death. Like I didn't think I could ever appreciate a pope more than I appreciated John Paul II. And Pope Benedict XVI is just, he's such an amazing gift to the church. The catechism that John Paul II promulgated was largely edited and written or put together, I suppose, by Benedict XVI before he was Pope. Then Cardinal Ratzinger. Yeah, I love that guy. But I don't think that Pope Francis would ever retire until Pope Benedict at least passed on to his reward, you know?
And as a Franciscan, you have to read Ratzinger's, I'm sure you can find it. I don't know if it's in print anymore, so I don't know how expensive it would be. But his doctoral thesis, The Theology of History of St. Bonaventure, like his doctoral thesis was on Bonaventure's Theology of History. And you can buy it, or used to be able to buy it from Franciscan Press. I don't know who, it'd probably be out of print now, but
I had no idea
that's why he loves Bonaventure so much, and he'll mention him in his audiences and stuff. So
it's just one more reason to love Pope Benedict XVI. Yeah, I knew that he was not a fan. Like, he loved Thomas Aquinas, of course, but he wasn't a fan of the impregnable language, I think is what he called it.
Yeah.
Right? The language of Thomas Aquinas is not, it's not something for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not easy to digest the way that Bonaventure is. But on the topic of Franciscanism, something that, there's a movie coming out next year starring Shia LaBeouf called Padre Pio. And that's something that I look forward to because, one, Shia LaBeouf, appears to have had a very serious conversion, supposedly lasting. I think he hasn't reneged on it yet, and hopefully he never does. He appeared on Bishop Barron's show, which is really cool, to talk about his conversion. In that, he had really positive things to say about the traditional Latin Mass, which just makes my heart, grow 2 sizes, since Christmas is almost upon us. But I will tell you, I've seen the clips that have been released on YouTube. Have you seen them?
I saw one of them, the first one they put out.
Padre Pio is dropping F-bombs, and throwing people out of confession. I know that the real Padre Pio did expel people from confession because he knew they were willfully holding their serious sins back. He was like given that special gift from the Lord to be able to discern people's true hearts.
Right.
But did he...
I know he was rather gruff and abrasive too.
But
I don't know.
F-bomb gruff? Get the expletive out of the church? Would that be something that he would say? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. And unfortunately, the expert in our group is probably Brother Matt, who loves Padre Pio. I have to admit, I know very little about him. At some point in the next year or two, also Russell Crowe's coming out as Father, the huge exorcist, who was a close friend of Padre Pio.
Father Amorth,
and
right?
Amorth. Thank you, Father Gabriel Amorth, and he was a military guy. He fought and got medals of honor, and he was in the same circle. So I don't know. Maybe maybe if I study more or watch the movie, I learn more about.
Well, when you're throwing demons around, I think that you're allowed to use some blue language, but when it's a poor soul in line at the confessional, and like, I don't know that Padre Pio would have dropped the Italian equivalent of an F-bomb to
does that thing with the teeth.
Yeah.
Although I do know, I'm pretty sure this is a true story too, because I think he mentioned it at one point. Kind of like Mother Teresa, he was, probably because of his stigmata especially, he was one of those people who during his life people already assumed was so holy and such a saint. He was a living saint. And he said people would always steal his stuff. And one time he was walking and some dude took his rosary and ran, and he chased him down and got it back. So I know he was pretty feisty. He's so feisty dude. Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, I texted you on your email. I sent a PDF copy of Ratzinger's book.
Oh, yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's online. So
how long is it? It's probably enormous.
278 pages.
Well,
I
think
not
bad
not
for a
bad.
dissertation.
Yeah.
Dang. Like if you buy Scott Hahn's dissertation,
I have that on kinship by covenant. Yeah.
Okay. Although, you know what? I heard from my theology professors that in Europe, a PhD in theology is like getting a master's. Mm-hmm. Like, they just get tons of them, and then and there's nothing higher than that. So, which is really interesting. Anyway, so Padre Pio, looking forward to it. I got a movie coming out next year that I am really nervous about, and that is Indiana Jones 5 and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah. I thought the preview looked actually pretty good, but then when I started hearing what the storyline is, it sounded terrible. So if that's true, what they're saying,
we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
But what beloved franchise has Disney touched that they haven't destroyed?
Right. We mentioned Willow is the most recent one.
Willow's the most recent.
The tube, and
Star Wars.
The Marvel universe is going downhill quickly,
plummeting, and and Indiana Jones.
And I saw that. Is it Peter Gunn? Peter Gunn's the director one. His brother's the one who's
James
the
Gunn?
actor. James Gunn. Peter Gunn's the brother, right? Who
I think so.
Well, anyway, I think he's out now. DC hired him to do all their things, so we might see a shift because his movies were really the ones that were really that I really enjoyed. So it'll be interesting.
Warner Brothers. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. There's a couple other like pop culture things I'm looking forward to. John Wick. You like John Wick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. I like Keanu Reeves. I like his movies. I really do.
I mean, they get progressively less believable.
Yeah.
And the first one was already not very
They're
believable.
Like the Scream movies.
Yeah.
You're like, you can only stretch how connected some murder is so far
exactly.
after.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But let's see, John Wick. This one's up our alley, man. Evil Dead Rise.
Oh,
there's another Evil Dead coming out.
Is it really going to have...
we don't know.
He's so old now.
So the Bruce Campbell character had his own show, though. Did you see that?
Right, yeah, I did watch it.
It was awesome.
It was funny. Yeah.
It was so ridiculous. Lucy Lawless kills it in that show.
You have to be careful about recommending shows. That has some pretty bad scenes.
Yeah,
for
that's
Catholics watching it. But yes, it was a good show.
I mean, for a horror nut who can just shut his brain off and enjoy something that's over the top, ridiculously just ridiculously crazy. Ash vs. Evil Dead is a great show. So I think Evil Dead Rise is either going to be new characters, it'll be a continuation of the 2013 Fede Alvarez movie.
Oh, okay.
Which I also loved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over the top horror schlock is like
still
one of my favorites.
Some great lines and stuff in some of those movies.
Groovy.
My boomstick.
Yeah, the boomstick. Next year there's
Guardians.
Also,
which I hope. I mean, the video from the
one MCU movie on my list that I'm looking forward to.
From the preview, I was like, it looks okay. Like I couldn't tell yet. They didn't really give you enough.
Yeah.
So, But I love the first two. I mean, they're probably my favorite MCU movies, actually. And so now we'll see.
Yeah,
and then I was
so strong.
I was sad though because in Thor, not the recent one, the one before it, was kind of, it was Guardians-ish, like
Ragnarok.
Yeah. I mean, with the 80s looking stuff and like the whole. That was a pretty entertaining one. And then the newest one I told you is terrible. My wife, I said, she walked in and went like, "Is this a parody?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a real movie." But so I'm hoping Guardians goes off well, but we'll see.
There's also Across the Spider-Verse. I loved.
I'm not into those as much. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
man,
not into those. So
as someone who has to watch like kid animated movies all the time because of my girls, the fact that they like Into the Spider-Verse is like a saving grace for me because it's so good. It's one of the few movies. Did you watch
the whole Castlevania series?
No.
So hardcore.
Is it?
It's great.
It's hardcore.
It has some weird scenes in the last
Castlevania?
few. Yeah.
Okay, I have to check it out. But Into the Spider-Verse...
Your girls can't watch it.
They can't? Okay. Into the Spider-Verse checks so many boxes. One, like, visually, it's different. It's incredibly different and unique. But also, and frankly, this is how you know it's not a Disney movie. Like, there's a dad who is a strong dad in that movie who needs to be... it's almost like his presence in his son's life is what allows his son to grow into being Spider-Man, even though the father doesn't know that his son is Spider-Man. It's so good. Like, strong father character. Mother is present too. The family's together. He's a smart kid. Like, there's just so much to love about that movie because a lot of those classic, like, I don't know, traditional tropes aren't in so many of, like, the Disney movies. Dad is always dumb or wrong, needs to be defied in order for the hero to discover how good the hero already is. Yeah. That's like every Disney movie. I hate it. Anyway, Dune 2, that's coming out. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's a science one. Basically for viewers who don't know, I used to work full-time in the defense industry for a software company that develops imaging software used by our government, the military, but it's used a lot in space exploration. So one of the missions that is like a pre-Mars mission, it's the OSIRIS-REx mission to the Bennu asteroid. It's pretty cool. Like, the satellite goes up and, like, there's a little arm that punches down and, like, grabs a piece of the asteroid and then comes back to Earth. But the software that my company developed was used to plot that mission out. So the satellite is returning in September of next year. So that'll be kind of neat. I don't know. Yeah. What will they find? Aliens?
Yeah. Or it'll bring back just some alien plague on it from...
Yeah. But aside from that, next year we're hoping to have so much more material on prayer techniques, on what we do as the brothers and sisters of Penance, of St. Francis, on different spiritual things that you can use in your life to help discern things or just kind of help carry you through your everyday grind,
spiritual warfare. We've talked about demons, but actually spiritual warfare and those techniques.
And also we have a really cool series that we're working on right now where we have our RCIA lectures. We're repurposing them and re-releasing them onto YouTube, onto our channel, so that you can kind of go through the basics of Catholicism with us for free on YouTube. Pretty cool.
And maybe some of my videos can make its way over.
What's that?
Some of my Bible studies can perhaps begin.
Hey, your Bible studies are already live. On our YouTube channel.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've got the newest one, so there's a lot out there. So.
Yeah, you got a lot of Bible study videos. I didn't realize just how many there are, but we don't know if we're going to have to make a new channel for you just to house those or something, but there's going to basically, next year we're hoping to have a drastic increase in sort of actual spiritual Franciscan spiritual resources. So please stay tuned for that, and please check back with us throughout the year. Just keep on following us and supporting the channel, because we'll have all this stuff ready and available for you guys. So.
And did you want to mention the newest merch thing?
For
those who like our...
Yeah, if you like our Dirty Habits software, if you like our Dirty Habits hoodies, you can get these plus other official Dirty Habits merchandise and other really cool, just traditional Franciscan apparel and gifts at our Etsy shop, and we'll drop a link to it below. It is One Holy Catholic at Etsy, so we'll drop a link. Make sure that you check out One Holy Catholic for everything that you want, Dirty Habits and or Brothers and Sisters of Penance. Okay, so yeah, support the channel by supporting that shop. So you have any prayer requests for 2023?
Let's see. I just want the church to start coming out of it. Catholic Church start coming out of its beat up shell and slump. Yeah. That to start people just living the faith again. If you're not back at Mass yet, please return. COVID's done. It's time to sort of get back to it. And I mean, those things too. We'll talk about a lot of those things. The importance of the disciplines of the church, our life. The impact it makes. I just pray a lot for the church and for our country. Our country's going through a lot of struggles and things right now, and issues and oppositions, and somehow some kind of sanity will be returned where we can talk to each other again at least, and start to come down to some common solutions that most can probably agree on. And so
I have the same prayer too. And for my prayer for next year too, personally speaking, is I just pray that I will be more disciplined with my own personal prayer life. I'm very good at doing the rote stuff, and it's a constant struggle, especially for dads who have like kids who are teenagers or younger, right? Like, we are constantly being pulled this way and that by people who need us, and it makes it so difficult for us to stay the course with our prayer life and make that the most important thing. And for me, I experience that a lot. I constantly get dragged one way or the other. Yeah. And my attention gets taken away from what really matters. Is like, I need to live a life of worship, of true, solid, honest worship. And that means making time. Like, I need to just take the time, man up, take the time to spend with a person that I profess to love more than anything else, right? With my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So, I have preferred ways of doing that, that we could talk about in future videos as we talk about spiritual prayer techniques and stuff. But yeah, it's my personal prayer for 2023. Yeah.
Yeah, always growing closer.
And for all of you watching, drop your prayer requests down in the comments below. I think that is all that we have time for tonight.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to after the new year, huh?
Heck yeah.
All right.
Pax et bonum.
Pax et bonum.
If you enjoyed that conversation with me, Brother Justin, and
Brother Chris,
then please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can follow more of our fantastic conversations such as these. And don't forget, check out our store on Etsy, One Holy Catholic, to support this channel with all of your wonderful money.
Link below.